We're now live, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. Then we will reconvene the hearing. I think that was an opportune moment given the technical glitches we had while we were all out of the room. It couldn't have happened at a better time. It now falls to the licence holder or your representative, Mr. Shackleton, to present your case, calling any witnesses. So I don't know who's leading or how you want to do it, but I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I'm going to call both Dean Casey, joint premises licence holder, and Casey Blakey, the designated premises supervisor. Obviously, we can do them one at a time and have questions from other sources. So if I can start with Dean Blakey first. Okay. If you could operate the microphone, have you got it switched on? Is that on okay? Is the light on? Yeah. Good. So as I understand it, Mr. Blakey, you've been the licensee jointly or with others of the Railway Pub since May 2012. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And leaving aside these incidents, April 2021, prior to that, from May 2012 to April 21, have you had any problems with the police, the council, or anything to do with the operation of your pub?
No, not at all.
Okay. And I understand that the joint premises licence holder with you is your wife, Anshali?
Actually, yeah.
Okay. And the DPS is your son, Casey, who's with you?
That's correct, yeah.
And he's been DPS since 2015?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Now, let's deal with the music first. Okay. Prior to this incident on the 17th of April, have you had any incidents or problems relating to playing loud music or causing annoyance to people?
No, none at all. None at all. We've had a very good reviews of the pub. People having a good time. No trouble. No, nothing at all. All on the Facebook saying what a fantastic night prior to the.
And I think we're talking pre-COVID. I think you have live bands a lot at your pub.
Oh yes. It's a live music event. So I'll get bands from Hull, from all over the place, just to come to play at the pub.
And are the bands playing inside the pub?
Inside the pub, yes.
Okay. And how frequently did you used to have bands before we had COVID?
Oh, once a month, twice a month. Sometimes, because I have wedding functions and parties and 40ths and that lot, so it's all in one place.
Is there a function room or something for the band?
No, it's all in one. It's all in one.
Okay. In terms of playing music outside, have you had music events or music playing outside previously?
No.
So this was the first time that you'd had music playing outside?
Yes.
Okay. And had you done any noise monitoring or risk assessment prior to
For
outside music?
For what, for outside?
Yes.
No, none at all. No.
Okay. And were you aware or clear of what the COVID rules said about playing music outside before the 17th of April?
No, it's like a background music and but no, nothing.
Okay. So the question that's on everybody's lips, how come you've got a DJ playing music at very audible levels?
Me, I don't think it was, in my eyes, in my ears, I don't think it was that loud to a degree, but I wouldn't know it. I told them to turn the music down when I heard the reports or maybe complaints, so I asked them to turn it down, And my things like they did, they turned it down.
Okay, but you've seen the videos. Leaving to one side COVID-19 and social distancing for the moment, just focusing on the noise levels. You've heard that and seen the videos.
Yes.
That music has been played clearly above background or incidental music level, isn't it?
Yes, and like I say, if I made a mistake, I made a mistake.
Would you accept that you made a mistake?
Oh yeah, 400%.
Because it's a whopping mistake, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What have you done about playing music outside since the 17th of April?
Well, I've cancelled the bands. I've cancelled prior this extension on the thing. I had a Motown, a Northern Soul outside, which I've cancelled that. I've cancelled a band on a Sunday. And I even, like I said, I had a band from Hull, which is a very, very, very good band. I had to cancel them. So all my bands or all the music venues what I had to cancel because I cannot have
do you play any music at all outside now?
No.
None whatsoever, not even background?
There's a little speaker.
Sorry, this is just for your father at the moment.
So there is a speaker in the outside bar then.
Yeah.
And that's just a speaker what just does the outside, if you know what I mean.
And
nothing.
Who controls the volume on that?
Bar staff.
And are they instructed about volume levels?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And you've not had any complaints subsequent to the 17th of April about noise?
No.
So what have you got to tell the sorry?
I did. We had a speaker and I tried it out to where like the music was on your do. I put the speaker further back, if you know what I mean, under the smoke room. We have a smoke room there, so I put it on there and told him to turn the music up to a degree. I goes over to the Endeavour, which is the other side of the road. And as I was on the phone and all, I was, right, can you turn it up a bit? Can you turn it up a bit till I can hear it, vaguely hear it? And then I said, yeah, that's fine. So I went back. Then I found out, the loud of music, the decibel, if you know what I mean.
What day was that?
Oh, 2 3 weeks ago, didn't it? Because I've got speakers inside myself, if you know what I mean.
So I think what you're saying is you've tried a bit of DIY monitoring of the noise so you know how far it transmits.
Exactly. I don't want to upset people because, like I say, at the end of the day, it's my livelihood. So where I looked at it, where they was playing their music on that day, okay, it was loud, but I've done my own DIY, put it so where nobody would have to complain. So do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Why didn't you do that before the 17th of April?
I made a mistake. If you know what I mean. I didn't know it was going to be that intense, if you know what I mean.
You hadn't had a music event outside before.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
And then during the evening of the 17th of April, police officer turns up at 6:44 and tells you to turn it down. Did he speak to you?
No.
He didn't speak to you.
I'd tell you, I thought if I'm not there, Casey would be designated. If you know what I mean? If I'm not there, as long as one of us there, that's just what I believe in. So I goes over to the Asda to get some ice and everything like that, comes back. And then about twice I had to go. So I come back. And then all of a sudden it was. And I went outside and I said to him, turn it down. And 10 o'clock, I pulled the plug. And that's
why didn't you pull the plug before 10 o'clock? You've seen the dancing in the.
I wouldn't see the dancing if I'm not there. If I'm going to Asda's and everything like that.
You could have heard the music. You're on site, and from the video evidence, it's clear the music is clearly audible. We can't get away from that, can we?
Yeah, no, we can't.
There's no case to argue. So why didn't we pull the plug earlier?
No, I can't explain it. I just can't explain it.
Okay.
But like I say, I pulled the plug at 10 o'clock, pulled the plug, and I said that was it, no more.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say to the licensing committee about the noise nuisance issue before we talk about other things? Because you're in their hands today in terms of what they do with your license.
I made a mistake. I just made a mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's one of the things where we've accepted fault, and we understand. Like I say, Mr. Davis coming down, he was fair play. He was, giving us some guidance. She gave us that piece of paper, which was all highlighted, stating what we need to do next. Get your risk assessment. There's going to be a policeman coming over, taking a photo of it, and it shocked us a little bit with what we see, and we, like I say, we understand what's gone wrong now. It's very, talking the times I've been out in 3 or 4 years ago, pub's always been very entertaining, and this is all new to us. So yeah, I think, like I say, we've learned by the mistake, and we accept that going forward, we will address it and and make sure it doesn't happen. But like I said, it's our livelihood, and we do apologise. Absolutely.
Casey, I'll give you'll have a chance in a moment to give your evidence. I didn't want to.
Oh, sorry.
This is just a dad at the moment. Perhaps if we can move on to COVID issues. I think you accept that. I think it was the 15th of April now, from memory, that this gentleman, Mr. Davis, came and did a very decent thing and visited your premises and tried to offer you a helping hand.
Yeah.
And I don't think you accepted that offer of help quite as much as you should have done, did you?
When Mr. Davis was on the phone, he said to me, about the COVID rules, which obviously I thought I did. 6 to a table, keep everybody down. When Mr. Davis was down there, he said my work colleagues was there making tables. I had 15 tables what I bought, and we was all doing up. So I had 15 tables what I've just bought, putting it all in the garden to all, social distancing. Yes, I thought I did, but obviously, I can't. People's asking, can I put hands up to go to the the toilet? I'm just saying, people just get up when they want and sit down. I don't know.
Did you do any research online before you did your event? How did you find out what the rules were?
Through the telly.
Are these the Boris briefings that you're talking about, the news?
6 to a table, 2 meters apart. If you can't be 2 meters apart, be 1 meter.
Okay. So, what rules did you set for the evening so that you believed or thought that your pub would be COVID compliant?
Had all hand sanitizers in place. Had all the stickers and everything on the wall. Or my tables was 2 meters apart. What more?
Well, in terms of people coming to the event, how did you get in the event? Could you just turn up, or
no? It was guest only, really.
It was a booking system.
Booking system, yes.
Okay. I've got a Word document here. I have got a copy. Again, I'm concerned about COVID safety, passing on paper documents, but I have got 2 copies of a Word document that I would like to be seen. Could you tell everybody what is the document, what it shows?
It says table numbers and names, who was there at a certain time.
So these are the bookings for the 17th of April?
Yes.
Okay. And it's got names and numbers at tables, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be able to work out from that, if everybody attended,
yes,
how many people were at the event?
Yes.
Okay, how many tables?
20. Well, I think
there's 28 tables.
27.
Yes. 27 tables. 6 to a table, so the maximum, testing your maths.
Right, 6 to 28, 120, 100.
About 160-ish.
160. 168 then.
Okay, so that's if everybody attends and there's 6 to a table.
Yes.
And to your knowledge, did everybody attend who booked a table?
No.
And for every table, was there 6 people?
No.
Okay, so in terms of numbers, we've had 200 to 250 banded about as being the figure.
Mm.
How many people were actually at the event?
I was about 110.
Was anybody allowed in if they hadn't got a table booked?
No.
Okay. And when they turned up, what sort of process have you got on the door to let people in or to know that they've got a booking or?
The names. Once you got your names, we knew who was that. Come for hand sanitizer.
Was there somebody at the door to greet them?
Yeah, the doorman. Yeah, we had doorman. Yeah.
Doorman. Okay, these are proper SIA
Yes.
approved.
Yeah.
Doorman, and how many?
But 2. Then we've got an extra one, didn't we? Yeah.
So you had 2. And so if I was one of these persons attending on the 17th of April, I would have been greeted by somebody at the door.
Yeah.
I'd have to give you my details to confirm a table booking.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that there was hand sanitizer available.
Yes. And the name and the date to go to the QR code.
And I was going to say the track and trace app, the QR code,
Yes.
that's all available. So you're keeping a record of numbers and who's coming in.
Yes.
Please.
Chairman, we need to just get the agreement of the police and all parties before we introduce anything new at this stage. If you could just refrain from looking at it until the police agree that they're happy for it to be admitted.
Thank you. Could I just ask the police if you would be have any objection to this being submitted?
Unlike my colleague earlier, no, we're quite happy for it to come in.
Thank you. And
Thank
Mr. David?
Chairman.
No objection.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are in order to glance at this, Martha.
Yes, Chairman, the other parties agreed to it being admitted.
Thank you. Carry on, Mr. Shackleton.
Thank you. So if, heaven forbid, there had been somebody testing positive who'd attended that event, you're saying that the information via the app and via your records would have been available.
Yes.
So people could have been contacted, traced and warned.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you know about that system? Where did you get that from?
What the?
How did you know about track and trace and table bookings?
Oh well, online and that. Yeah.
Online.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when somebody turned up for their table, how did they get to their table?
We showed them.
Okay. And what were the rules about masks, if any?
Always wear your mask when entering the building to go to the toilet. Standing up, you can take your mask off when you're seated.
And were they made aware that they had to remain seated?
Yes. Yeah. We had and every table what we had COVID rules. Please stick to a seat, to a table and everything. And every table, which I think you must have seen, everything on that table had one of these on.
And how far apart were the tables?
Oh, more than 2 meters, I would say.
Okay. And if I did need to go to the toilet, as inevitably the case while consuming liquids, had you got some sort of system or safety procedure in place there for going to the toilet?
Well, we had all the hand sanitizing the toilet and that lot. Obviously, they've got to ask to go to the toilet.
And was anybody monitoring the toilets at all?
Yeah, there was. The people going in and out.
Who was monitoring the toilets?
The bar staff.
And what were they told in terms of monitoring? What were the guidelines given by you?
One at a time into the toilet, and yeah, that's it.
How often, or they had to?
I wouldn't know how busy it was going to be, if you know what they say.
So they weren't given any specific guidance. Please check the toilets every 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, everything. Just make sure of the clean, because we had to have some ladies on the bar, behind the bar, because of the women's toilets. and the bloke. So yeah.
So what were they told about checking the toilets?
To make sure they're clean.
But did you give them a reference to checking every so often? If we can get it from you later, you don't know about any guidance given in that regard?
No.
Okay. And the doorman, what guidance or information did you give them to help you manage the situation?
Go through COVID rules. I said, make sure they don't dance, make sure they sit to the table, everything like that.
So if people are standing up, if people are dancing, if people are singing, if people aren't following the rules, what should have been happening?
They should have been throwing them out, sitting them down, or taking them out the premises.
Okay, you're also present much of the time.
Yeah.
So you're also responsible for that as the premises license holder. Ultimately, this is your premises.
Yeah.
Were people standing up, singing, breaking the rules, and if so, what did you do about it?
Not a lot. About just saying, I keep telling them to sit down. Please sit down to the table. To sit down to the table. That's all I can do, and they do it. But as soon as you move your back, they've gone up again. And that's the problem. What I've got, if it's not right.
But if that's happening, Mr. Blakey, I'm sure everyone will say, well, why didn't we end the event? And if people are not listening...
That's what I did. I pulled the plug out at 10 o'clock.
But that's at 10 o'clock, and that's after they're having a disco in the marquee.
Yeah.
Which is what is concerning, the major concern for the police here.
Yeah, I just made a mistake. That's it, didn't it? What can I say? It's never happened before. But, you know what I'm saying? It's never had a problem at all. But
in terms of ordering, paying for beer, what was the arrangement for that?
Outside, we got come to the outside bar because we were paying by card. The card machine don't go over to the tables.
Right.
If it doesn't reach to the table.
So I have to go to the bar to pay.
I've got to go to the cards to pay.
Which I think is allowable under the guidance.
I think so.
But you're not allowed to go and order from the bar, are you? I think that's right. You're not allowed
No.
Back in step 2, Tom, you weren't allowed to go to the bar and order your beer.
No.
So were people going to the bar and abusing things and asking for drinks at the bar rather than just paying?
No, I don't think it was. I don't know. I'd like to say.
Well, you don't know. I'm on your side here, but you're the licensee.
Yeah, I know.
It's your job to know, isn't it?
I've got two, but I've got a bar inside, a bar outside.
But the bar inside, presumably, is just where you're preparing drinks to take outside.
To take outside. That's what I'm saying.
But you're responsible for the whole management, and staff are doing jobs for you, but they're under your instruction and guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we've got a situation where I think at 6:44, it's all embedded in our minds now. A police officer attends. I don't think he spoke to you, but the police officer at that time seems to suggest, although it's busy, social distancing is happening. So roughly what time do you think, in your eyes, did the event start going off the rails, when the rules were being broken too much, or people weren't listening, people were dancing?
About 8 o'clock. Say.
About 8 o'clock.
Yeah, started getting up. I kept saying, "Please sit down, will you? Please sit down." And everybody was going around telling them all to sit down. Stop shouting, stop singing. Everything like that. You move away and they get up again, or whatever. We're talking with human beings, and this is where hard work it really, really is.
So, unfortunately for us, for 2 hours, that event. Is breaking the rules. We have to accept that, don't we?
Yeah, I have to accept it.
And that's not good, is it, for us?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
And is that why you've written off these events?
Yeah, I have done, because like I say, I cannot control people, and that's it. In an event like that, no, it doesn't matter what you try. Please sit down. Yeah, okay, Dean, I'll sit down. Then next thing you know, you're up again. And I keep saying that, and I just cannot control them. That's why I say with all these other events what I've got coming on, I just said, no, I can't do it. Cannot control people.
Now, perhaps
I
your
try.
biggest...
It's not saying I don't try.
Sorry, you finish.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, perhaps the biggest failure, not having a written risk assessment.
Yeah.
Did you know before the 17th of April that you had to have a written risk assessment?
No, I did not. Honestly to God, I did not.
We keep saying you're a licensee, it's your premises, you're responsible. You need to find out the rules and the guidance.
Yeah.
So what lengths did you go to find out, what are the rules for step 2 on the 12th of April?
To be honest, like I say, I didn't. He's more better than me on the computer.
So you left that to Casey then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've got a written risk assessment now.
Yes.
I'm afraid I've only got one copy of the document. It was presented to me today. Something that I would like to admit and for everybody to have a look at.
And I ask if the police or anyone has any objection to this being submitted.
I think we do without being able to give it due scrutiny, because we need to look at, again, it's almost a risk assessment. It's something you probably need to look at for half an hour, etc. But I see the time's going on. Again, this could have been served on us previously, couldn't it? But for the interest of keeping the hearing going, what we can do is have a look at it.
You would like us to admit it or not?
Yeah, that's what I'll have to adjourn again. It'll be endless, won't it?
I mean, it simply goes to show that after the horse is bolted, something's been done. That's merely the point that's been made.
In which case, I'm happy, in assuming Mr. Davis likewise.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, risk assessment is just what it is. It needs to be implemented to be.
Thank you. In which case, I'm happy for it to be submitted.
Okay, and Mr. Davis makes a good point. It's about implementation. Yeah. 21st of April, you get visited by the police and Mr. Davis. You're on the naughty step.
Yeah.
What did you feel? What did you say to them?
Gutted. Really was gutted.
They said that when they first turned up, you didn't initially readily admit that anything apart from the noise had been a problem. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's the usual thing, did you do that? And until you're confronted with the evidence, then you open up.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you feel about the incident now? Do you regret it, or?
We should never opened up. We should didn't open up till like the 21st of June. If you understand, I wish I never, because it's new to me, this virus, but people just won't listen to you.
Now,
and that's like I say, I wish I never opened up.
Some people will say, well, that won't wash now because we've got this incident, England-Croatia, which was a Sunday about 10 days ago, and we've seen a couple of or several disturbing videos of basically people standing up, being close together, someone letting off a flare.
Yeah.
What happened that night?
Well, it was, you took somebody out, didn't you? You took somebody out. Not.
What happened to the guy with the flare?
He got thrown out. He's banned.
How did that happen? Because presumably that night you're trying to set social distancing rules again.
We've got a marquee inside, because it was good weather. Marquee inside. We had 10 tables outside. We've got a big projector screen so everybody can see in. So everybody was social distancing. So there
seemed to be on one of those videos a number of people running and moving quickly into the marquee. Yeah. What was that? Do you know?
Well, we got, because we're allowed to have 30 people inside.
Yeah.
We have normal TV inside, which is and then we've got like a streaming thing for the TV projector outside.
Yeah.
The projector is about 40 seconds behind the normal TV. So
Right. There's a delay.
Yes, so people that like the score was already scored in the pub before it went into the outside.
Yeah.
And that's where I just think they was all gone in there to say, look, we'll watch it, and then it all want to watch the goal, I think, if you know what I mean.
Right. And then you opened for the England-Scotland game that we had on Friday night.
Yeah.
So, having seen the England-Croatia game, and I'm cringing because that didn't look good.
Yeah.
How did we make sure we didn't get any sort of reoccurrence at the England-Scotland game? What rules or guidelines did you try to introduce?
Took more tables out. You know what I mean? So not close together to a degree. If you know what
There
I
was
mean.
less tables.
Less tables in there, so it's all in there. And just tell people just
in
to
terms
sit
of
down.
people coming to the event, was it an entry?
It was not as busy as Croatia, if you know what I mean.
Why were there less numbers?
Because of the weather. Plus, we had people in. You know what I mean. We had 30 people inside.
Did people have to pay for a table?
Yes, they had to pay for a table. Yes.
So you were trying to limit the numbers.
Limit numbers, yeah.
And create more space.
Yes.
And dare I ask, let's be entirely frank, did we have any problems?
No.
Okay. And then tonight, England are playing Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Vital qualifying game, although I think England have already qualified. Are you opening tonight?
Yeah, inside.
And what are the rules or the safeguardings?
Safeguardings, 6 to 30 people inside. That's it.
Is that the current rule?
That's the current
limit
rule.
Limit to 30 people inside, is
30
it?
people,
Under
so,
step
yeah.
3. Okay. So there's going to be no marquee outside.
No marquee, no.
And why have you taken that decision?
Because, like I said before, I cannot physically handle people, 20, 30 people shouting up of, celebrating a goal.
So you're unfortunately learning from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no live music events.
No.
And the football now is just confined to 30 people indoors.
Indoors, yeah.
And that's not going to change until we go into step 4 or terminus day?
Till it all opens up.
Okay. Now, sorry, very quickly, the event that you had for the England-Scotland game was a charity event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you've been raising money for a charity?
Yes. The Pilgrim Hospital phoned me up, didn't they, and said about this wanting a special need dog.
Special needs, sorry.
For that, a dog. What does it?
A dog, sorry.
Yeah, it does, and it's. And said for the kids, if you know, for the kids. So,
have you done charity events much in the past?
Yeah, I have.
And you and Casey have provided me with 4 or 5 character references today, which you'd like to admit. And I think it's noticeable that we've got an NHS nurse, a manager of a medical practice, a church warden, local businessman who know all about what you're facing today, the allegations, but they're willing to say that generally they consider you to be a good, responsible publican.
Yes, which I am.
But obviously, we've got to accept isn't it?
Yeah, but I've made a mistake.
So I've got a copy of these references to hand forward again, so as per the other stuff I've mentioned.
In which case I have to ask our... Thank you. In which case, Mr. Davis, do you have any...
I have no objections, Chairman. No.
Thank you then, in which case I'm happy for them to be included.
Thank you. Before I let others question you, is there anything that you would like to say to the licensing committee today, sub-licensing committee today, they could revoke your license, which would mean effectively you wouldn't be able to trade. They do have other options, but could you perhaps tell them what effect that could have on you?
Oh, it would affect me big time. For like all the years what I've created it from a rundown pub, and I've created everything, and it's been hard work. It's been very hard work. I've got everything, and everybody's really have a good time, you know, and everybody's just, if I lose it, that's it. I'm knackered.
How do we know? How can you assure these people today that if they don't revoke your license or similar, that you are going to run your establishment in accordance with all the rules on COVID, on nuisance, and sorry, drugs, which we'll need to address? How can you assure them that you're going to keep that pub ship shape and obey the rules?
Yeah, I will. I'll try my hardest. I'll check everything and everything. Yeah, I just keep. Yeah, I've never had a problem. It's just obviously this COVID. It's just hard work. And prior to that, like I say, I have 130 people coming for my Sunday roast, which I have all old people, wheelchairs and that lot, and I look after them to the maximum. Which that's my job. That's my job, to make sure you really, really have a good time. And like I say, we're in very, very bad times at the moment. But that's it. I'm just.
And sorry, I've forgotten to talk to you about the drugs issue. The police are referring to two issues. A, when they met you on the 21st of April, they say there's relatively high indications of cocaine in the gents' toilets. And there's also this instance on the 17th of May when a man appears to be having some form of fit or seizure outside your pub, having consumed what we think is an illegal substance. Have you had a drugs problem in the past at the railway?
No, none at all. Nothing at all.
Do you have a drugs policy?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, we go in, make sure there's no more than, you know, in the cubicles, if you know what I mean, and we do all bleach everything up around the toilets, or, you know, apparently baby oil, everything around it.
What, if anything, do you say to the staff about monitoring, looking for drugs, dealing with people they think might have consumed drugs?
Come and tell me.
And what happens if you catch somebody you think
they're out
using drugs?
They're out.
And have you actually done that, or is that just words? Have you thrown people out?
No, I haven't. That's what I'm saying. I've never had a drug problem in there.
This incident on the 17th of May, were you working on the 17th of May? About, I think, 5 in the evening.
Yeah.
Were you aware of this gentleman?
Pardon?
Were you aware of this gentleman, the chap that's taken drugs that the police had to attend to?
No, I looked on the CCTV. This is why I looked on the CCTV. He come to the bottom of the where my marquee is, and then he went straight out.
Were you aware that this gentleman had been in your establishment?
No, he was in there not even 5 minutes.
Had he purchased anything from your pub that we were aware of?
Yeah, he had a drink. This is what he had a drink, went to the back, and then he went straight out. He went straight out, and then, but he was all over the lot. And a lot of people didn't even know him.
Were you aware that he was in some distress and trouble outside the pub?
No,
the police are a bit concerned that he seems to have been left to his own devices when he's obviously in a bad way.
No, I didn't know. No.
Okay, I've got no further questions for you, Mr. Blakey. But if you stay with your microphone on, because there's going to be questions from other parties. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I would just take advice from Mark on this one, whether procedurally we take the licence holders all together or whether we take them separately.
It doesn't matter, Chairman. We sort of obviously have a procedure, but we can deviate away from that if it, seems sensible in the circumstances. So, if it's Mr. Shackleton's intention to next question Casey, then perhaps it would be easier for the police and Mr. Davis to question Dean now, whilst that information is fresh in their minds. So if you want to, you can allow it like this.
Thank you. That seems fine to me. Sergeant Enderby, could you ask any questions you have of Mr. Dean Blakey, please?
Thank you, Chair. In relation to the noise levels, you said prior to it and after meeting or your telephone conversation with Mr. Davis, you knew it was background levels.
Yes.
So what's your interpretation of background music?
So people don't shout.
So how can you possibly have thought that the levels of music on that day were background levels?
It was at the start, and like I said, I just think that I've told them to turn it down. That's what I'm saying. I told them to turn it down. If it was, I told them to turn it down, and that's straight up, and that's what I did. But background, what is background music? It's
Music you can talk over.
Yeah, talk over. Yeah, and people can. That's what I'm saying. We was like midway at the pub, and we was talking like normal.
Correct. We've heard the police officer attended approximately 6:44 in the evening and said that the music should be turned down. It was turned down.
Yes.
How often after that did you ask for the music to be turned down?
Twice until I pulled the plug.
Because we got another complaint at 1924, another one at 2118, another one at 2033, 2054, 2136, and the last one at 10:15 nearly.
It was dead on 10 o'clock when I pulled that plug.
You stated it was a mistake. Can you explain what you mean by a mistake?
In what, the music?
We've said the whole episode was a mistake. I struggle to comprehend what.
I don't intend to break the COVID rules, which I buy the tables, I bought everything. We even put things on the tables. Every table's had one. I'm not there to break the rules. We tell everybody to please be seated around the tables. No standing up, no singing or out like that. We have everything on the tables, which I bought 15 extra tables and we've got quite a big car park, so we can stagger them out in big time. 3 meters apart if we wanted to. So, what do you mean by a mistake?
Repeatedly referred to what happened as a mistake.
Yeah.
So I struggle to understand where the mistake bit is. So what do you mean by mistake? It was a mistake to hold the event. It was a mistake.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I wish I never opened up till the 21st of June. That's what I'm trying to explain, where trying to tell people to sit down and when okay, Dean, we'll sit down and you go away and then they just stand up again. And I'll say that all the time, which I just say, I wish I never opened up till the 21st.
The video footage we've seen of people dancing, and the music really loud. At what point did that happen? Because that hasn't happened I don't believe that's happened spontaneously. That's not a snapshot of a few seconds. That is something that has been going on for some time.
About 9 o'clock or so, but I mean, I could have been at getting some ice then, if you know what I mean.
Chairman, sorry to interrupt. My screen's gone black. Are we still live on YouTube, Jeanette?
Jeanette, can we check whether we're live on YouTube? I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we are. And you're visible as well, Martha.
Can you see the committee room, Jeanette?
The committee room's gone black. Pippa, do you need to do something with the tablet?
The machine's still on, but yeah, our camera's gone on. I don't know.
I'm happy for us to continue if we can be heard. As I understand regulations are that as long as we can be heard, we're okay, and it be seen if possible. If we can't be seen, I would rather we carry on for the time being and get a little bit further if we could. Providing we're still recording, providing we're still audible on YouTube.
That's correct, Chairman.
I'm happy with that, Chairman. That was just my concern that with the camera going off, something had affected the YouTube feed. So if Jeanette confirms that, we're fine.
Thank you very much. No, well spotted. Thank you. Please carry on.
Thank you. Yeah, so back to at what point were people dancing in that way? You said 9 o'clock. So you allowed it to continue for an hour?
Yeah, I did, yeah. But that's when everything, because I had doormen there and all. I had 3 doormen there and all, which was told, make sure that nobody's dancing or anything like that. They knew all that.
But you were there, your son was there,
Yeah,
3 doormen were there.
Yeah, but they was there. The doorman was there. And that was their decision as a doorman, keep them all sat down and everything like that.
But they clearly weren't sat down.
No, there you go.
How many members of staff did you have on that day?
6, 7. With me, and my missus, my wife, Angela, and all.
So yourself, your wife, your son, is 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then 4 other members of staff.
Yeah.
And then does that include the door staff?
No.
Well, your son wasn't working, was he? Because it's his birthday party, is that correct?
No, he wasn't. Yeah, at the beginning, it was. Yeah.
And you were expecting 168 people?
No, because some was only having 3 to a table, some was 2 to a table.
So how many people were you expecting on the day?
Oh, don't know really.
So then how can you possibly run the event successfully if you don't know how many people were coming?
About 120.
About?
Yeah, about 120.
Is that how many bookings you'd taken prior to the event?
Well, that's what I assumed, if you know what I mean. I didn't count all of them because I know if I count, there's 160 people to a table, but there's only 2 or 3 at a table.
But you've presented that
so
list as evidence.
About 120, I would say.
You've presented that list as evidence of some sort of controls and bookings, but you don't really know how many people turned up.
No, because people didn't turn up. Some people didn't even turn up at all.
But how many were you planning for?
About 120, about 128 or 130 on here.
Right. The risk assessment, you've obviously printed this off the Society of Independent Brewers, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you did it after the meeting with myself.
Yeah, you said, and we had it on Friday. 2 policemen come in and taken photographs.
Have you implemented this risk assessment?
Yeah.
Because to me, this looks like a generic risk assessment that's been printed off a website for any sort of licensed premises. It should then be used for your premises, and action by who, when done.
Mm-hmm.
None of this is complete. This looks like it's just been printed off and nothing's been done with it.
Question, Sergeant Enderby.
Sorry, Martha, say that again.
Questions?
Yes, reminding Sergeant Enderby that it should be a question.
Apologies. Can you explain how you've implemented this when it's still blank?
That's just a copy.
So you've got a completed copy?
Yeah, at the pub, yeah.
Could you ring someone to go and get it?
No, not now. No.
Could nip and get it?
Oh, it's all short, isn't it?
Does it exist?
Yes, we printed one off.
Yeah.
Literally the following day, we printed one off when you said.
Yeah, but
That's
has it
fine,
been filled in input? Because the best will in the world, you can go on anyway and print off a risk assessment. But some of this won't be relevant to your premises. Some of it will be relevant to your premises. Some of it's for a restaurant.
Yeah,
That is just printing off a risk assessment. That doesn't show anything.
Yeah, but when you said about on the Wednesday, make sure you get a COVID risk assessment, and on the Friday, 2 policemen come in, and one of them took it. Have you got your risk assessment? Said, yeah, there you are. They took in photographs and everything, and they went. Everything was okay.
No, they didn't say everything was okay. They just took photographs of it, didn't they? On your risk assessment, outdoor areas, plan for maintaining social distance in the event of adverse weather conditions. Can you explain to the committee what you're doing there?
2 meters apart. What do you mean? What do you mean? Because it's
It's your risk assessment,
Yeah.
so you should be aware of it.
Yeah.
It says you will have a plan for what to do with customers in outdoor areas during adverse weather conditions. Now, if you've implemented this, you should be able to answer that question.
Well, no, I haven't then.
So if it starts to rain, if the wind's blowing, what do you do?
I've got outside marquee. That's why I bought an outside marquee.
Too windy for a marquee, what do you do?
They'll have to go home.
But you're answering this off the top of your head. You haven't implemented
No,
this
but
risk
that's what
assessment, have you?
I cannot have no more than 30 people in a pub. Cannot have no more than 30 people in a
Why
pub.
have you come up with that level of
if-
30 people?
Pardon?
Where's the limit of 30 people come from?
Because that's the COVID rules.
No, it isn't.
Well, I thought it was only 30. You can only have a maximum of 30 people in the pub.
No, you can have 6 to a table or
Yeah.
2 families. If you had 2 families who were 15 in each family, you can have 30 people to a table. The outside area,
All right.
you can have groups of up to 30.
Well, there you go then.
So again, it shows you don't know
Well,
and
that's-
understand
yeah,
the
well,
regulations, and you certainly haven't implemented this. This document, you can print off a document.
Oh,
if you
Genevieve, I
don't-
think we need a
Yeah,
question,
apologies.
please.
Yeah.
There's no further questions, Chair.
Thank you. Do colleagues on the subcommittee have any questions for Mr. Dean Blakey? Councillor Wellborn.
Have all your staff undergone COVID tests on a regular basis?
No.
So you don't know if any of them at any time have tested positive?
No.
Thank you.
And Councillor Pickett.
No, Chairman, I haven't. No.
Thank you. And does the licensing officer have any?
Bearing in mind all restrictions that we have, like people to stay seated, music played.
Sorry, Chairman, I can't hear. Is the microphone switched on?
Sorry, I do apologise. I'm terrible for that. I'll start again. Bearing in mind that with all the restrictions, people at the pub should remain seated, 6 to a table, music's background level only. You wouldn't expect that to be an event that would cause any issues. What was it about that day that made you think door staff were required?
Just the amount of, not the same amount of alcohol, where like people's not seen each other for a long time.
But they had, because the restrictions there had been lifted. You could see
Not in
a pub.
Just not in a pub. In that.
So did you expect for it to be an event that would require door staff then?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Right.
I did.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
like I say, I just keep saying it. You tell people to sit down, and they will do for 2 minutes, 1 minute, but then they'll just.
And why didn't your door staff take any further action to control what was going on at the premises?
Oh,
You've hired them to
yes,
do the
I
job.
did. Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
So
But like I say, I didn't know. I put case was in chat. I've kept going up to the shops to get more stock, to come back down there, and maybe take me an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe getting Asda's. If you know what I'm saying. So then I'm coming back, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it was just
Additionally, the event with Morning Glory, the Oasis tribute band,
Yeah.
you cancelled that event.
Yeah.
Would you agree that you only cancelled that after the police submitted their review application?
When on the Wednesday, when you come on the Wednesday, that's when I said no, it's never.
But then you reversed that decision and
No, but what I'm jumping to, kind of say, I spoke to the band members.
yeah,
Right, I spoke to the band members, and I said, "Look, mate, I've got to cancel it." And he said, "Right." I said, "Yeah, because the noise." He said, "We can control the noise where it's all, proper low tone, if you know what I mean." Because they're like I say, it's different to be a DJ apparently to a live music bands, because they can pull the bass and everything all down. So they would, and then I thought, no, all right. And then I said, no, I'll cancel it.
but
They was trying to indulge
but then
me.
you didn't cancel it because there was a Facebook post saying that it had been reinstated.
Yeah.
And then following
Then
receipt of the police's review, we had a telephone conversation.
Yeah. Yes,
where I
it did,
advised you that it would be the prudent decision
That's
to
right.
cancel it.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to ask, Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you. In which case, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry, I've just got one quick question. I think hopefully, obviously you've been the licence holder for how many years? Did you say?
Well,
6 or 7 years.
6 years.
Yeah. And obviously, on the current licence, there are a number of conditions regarding the prevention of public nuisance. Can you tell me what they are?
Noise.
What about noise?
Outside. Nuisances. Fighting.
It says the licence holder or his representative shall conduct regular assessments of noise coming from the premises and shall take steps to control the level of noise to a reasonable level such that it does not cause nuisance to local residents.
Yeah.
Did you do that on the night in question?
To be honest, no, I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I got to tell the truth. No, I didn't, because I wasn't there. But that's when, like I say, when I did me speakers outside, and I turned them up to a degree, and I went over to the Endeavour, and I was on the phone just to make sure where, like, I can't just vaguely hear it.
This is post out.
This is after, if you know what I mean. So it was, and then I've come back, and the music was just right. You know, so I've made a mistake where, and I had to correct myself. Everybody makes mistakes, and I've made one, and it's maybe a big one, but I've never made mistakes before. That pub has absolutely been very, very good, where like people really, really enjoy it. And like I say, I do Sunday roasts. I get people from Skegness, from Lincoln, Spalding, everywhere just to come to have my Sunday roast. And old people love it. And that's all I can say. I've done an event which I wish I'd never opened up till the 21st of June.
Just moving on from that, just to follow up on what the licensing officer said about the event that was or wasn't cancelled but eventually didn't happen. It was an Oasis tribute band, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't know how you think you were going to actually run that sensibly. You know, who would think you could run a band and have customers be able to sit and have a drink and food without?
Well, this is when that's what I'm just trying to say. I was talking to the band members, which on the phone, because I had to tell them to cancel it. And then they were saying, Dean, we play to the level, and they tell them to sit down and that. Like, so we be there, but they tell them and all, if you know what I mean. That's the pulled plug. So they was trying to convince me. So then I went, should I do it? Should I have a go? If you're going to play on really low level, because the band was telling me what they do. So I did. Then all of a sudden I said, no, I can't risk it now. I've got to I've got to.
I can't think any rock band would want to play where they were background music.
Until
Or you can play a set of drums that's
Mr.
controllable.
Mr. Davis, because it's never happened. If they said they would do it, then we don't know. We're not on side. But they play in other pubs, you see. That's what I'm just saying. They play in other pubs, like in Bourne, and everything like that. And they've been playing prior to what the date was coming on to my premises, if you know what I mean. So they were saying to me, we keep it low, Dean. We keep it really low. So convinced me a little bit. Then all of a sudden I just said, no, I can't. Sorry, mate, I can't. I'm not risking it.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
I can't control people, if you know what I mean. It's
Thank you, Chairman.
yeah, and that's true. That's
Thank you very much.
thank you.
I'll hand back to Mr. Shackleton, who will take us through the case for Mr. Casey Blakey. I will give advance notice that I intend to adjourn at 2:45 for about 3/4 of an hour, appreciating that we have been here since, some of us since about 9:15 this morning, and with only coffee to sustain us. So just to give you advance notice that at 2:45 I shall be adjourning. Thank you.
Chairman, can I just ask if you wanted to take a very short break so we could re-establish visuals on YouTube?
We'll do that at 2:45 if we can. We'll try and get a bit further through. Thank you. Mr. Shackleton, thank you.
We're now dealing with Casey Blakey. You're the DPS at the premises and Dean's son.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Dealing with the points that the police sergeant was making about the risk assessment.
Yeah.
Could you tell me how that's come into existence and what, if anything, has been done to implement it?
With the risk assessment, like I say, one of the things where we printed it off, and I think it's just a lack of knowledge from our side about obviously how the risk assessment works. Obviously, to my knowledge, when it comes to filling things in.
Sorry, just pause a moment.
Sorry.
Excuse me, Martha.
Sorry, I do apologise, Chairman. I forgot I was on mute and my dog's just barking. I do apologise, Chairman. I'm so sorry, everybody.
No worries at all. You're just checking that we can still hear you.
Yes, exactly.
Carry on, Mr. Shackleton.
We can carry on.
Yeah, so unaware, obviously, of how it works as such, and as Enderby's pretty much stated there, that things need to be wrote down. Once again, it's a learning curve for me and my dad to know that we have to write things down on a risk assessment, and absolutely, we've taken that on board, and it will be dealt with. These are the things that's very, very new to us, and like you say, we're glad that we need this kind of like stuff, because it's what we need to kind of make things happen. But yeah, on that side, obviously it's going to be dealt with.
Okay, let's deal with the nuisance first again with you, the noise nuisance.
Yeah.
We've established that usually you only have indoor live music events.
That's correct, yeah.
And I think this was the first and only time at some outdoor music events.
That's right.
Presumably because you're trying to operate within the ambit of step 2, which is basically allowing some outside hospitality facilities to open. So it was your first time, and I think you readily acknowledge, without dismissing this as not being serious, that basically you messed up.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think the problem is as well, when you've took other pubs such as Skegness, like the Lumley and Skegness, and you've taken other things into account of them having outdoor events, we've took that and gone, okay, we can have an outdoor event. And like you say, we've copied people, and it's obviously put us in the wrong place. And it's the first time we've ever done an outdoor event. And obviously, like I say, we're very new to it, as stating that we normally do inside events. And yeah, absolutely, it's got a little bit out of hand on our part.
Is it going to happen again until we're out of lockdown completely?
Absolutely not. I mean, we've cancelled all events being outside pretty much straight away. We obviously mentioned about the Oasis band. I mean, I wanted to cancel it straight away, but we had people in the rear stating that, you know, you'll be okay, we can turn it down. It was like, no, we're not risking that. And obviously we've got a scar ban that we've had to cancel, and pretty much every single event we don't want outside. We've obviously took a bit of a beating from what we're pretty much in talks about now. So yeah, absolutely, it's not going to happen.
And let's deal with drugs before we get on to COVID.
Yep.
You've been DPS, I think we said, since 2015 or 2016.
Yep.
Has there been a drugs issue at the pub?
No.
Okay. Do you have a drugs policy?
We don't have a drugs policy, but I always inform the staff. Whenever you're, you know, going down the corridor, you've got to spare 5-10 minutes. If you're a lady, go just check the toilets. You know, just have a quick clean round. Kind of do a little bit of investigating whether there's more than, you know, one in the cubicle, and then obviously come out again. Same to my male staff. I always say to them, you know, as you're swinging by, go in there, just check. If there's more than 1 or 2 people in there, ask if there's 2 people that's in that cubicle, and if there is, you know, knock and please ask them to leave. And rightly so. That's what's always been in place.
Okay, so how do the staff know about this? Do you tell them when they join?
Well, every morning, every time they start their shift, we explain about, you know, make sure that you keep watch of, you know, suspicious things that's going on in the pub. If you feel that it's not right, please inform us. And if there's people huddling around the toilets when they shouldn't be, 1, for starters, they shouldn't be there, so you need to ask them to leave. And 2, you need to be checking all the toilets to ensure that there's, you know, they're not going in the cubicle together. I mean, this is obviously stated before even COVID stuff. We've always been very strict on, you know, the drugs policy. It's not something that we like for our pub to happen.
Have you or any members of staff, to your knowledge, ever actually thrown someone out the pub or dealt with a situation where drug taking has been suspected?
Absolutely. I've removed someone before. They actually didn't have any evidence to say that they had it, but it's pretty obvious. And I asked them to leave the premises. I've pretty much given them a 6-month ban. They wasn't allowed to enter the premises since then. And obviously this is dating back prior to, you know, all the COVID stuff. And they've not returned. So yeah, I've had to deal with it before. That's just going off by thinking that, whether they've done it or not. It's just, I'm always backing myself up.
Has any member of staff, to your knowledge, done something similar or alerted your attention to suspicious?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's because it doesn't happen often, but it's just, I always say it's best to be safe than sorry. If you feel like you've got feeling that something's not right, just deal with it.
So you have a policy, you have procedures, but they're not documented or written down.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can put a sign stating, please do not do drugs in the toilets, but I mean...
And don't you think now it would be a good idea after today, outcome permitting, that we can put into a document these processes?
Absolutely.
And maybe record when people are told about the processes and maybe recording any incidents?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I don't know what the police policy is, but should persons then be reported to, should these incidents be reported to the police? I don't know what the current police sort of thoughts are on that, but I think it's clear you need to get something documented and
that's
recorded.
understandable.
This incident on the 17th of May with the chap again outside the pub, were you working that day?
I wasn't working that day, no.
Okay, so you can't tell me anything about that.
No. As far as I'm aware, obviously speaking to my dad, the gentleman was known to nobody around the town, and obviously the people that there was actually in the pub was a football lot, and they have no idea who the gentleman was. That was obviously collapsed outside.
Okay, so let's deal with the 17th of April.
Yeah.
Well, let's actually deal with the 16th of April.
Yep.
Apparently, a complaint. An incident is lodged on Friday, the 16th of April at 21:35 hours loud music playing, 40 to 50 people in attendance, no social distancing whatsoever. Were you working on Friday the 16th?
I was indeed, yeah.
Okay. Is any of that true?
Everyone was social distancing. There was 6 to a table. The only thing they did, which probably states about the music, was a bit of a test to make sure that electrics was working upon things arriving. That was obviously speakers and stuff like that. Because they arrived, we had to make sure that everything was tested first. But there was no music played continuous during that day.
Okay. So you're saying that is completely untrue, the allegations
Absolutely.
made by someone we just know is at the core.
Yeah, there was no music played.
So we then deal with the 17th of April.
Yeah.
And prior to the 17th of April, had you taken any steps to appraise yourself of what the rules and regulations are for basically running a pub during step 2?
Yeah, so I've obviously checked on a regular basis online. I've always checked the government websites, making sure that they're always constantly updated. That's where I got all my information from regarding, the 6 to a table, face masks, etc., etc. I made sure that it was all printed, laminated on each and every single table, and every person that walked through the door was informed of the rules and regulations at the time. And obviously any breach of any of the COVID situation, they'll be asked to leave, or at least told at the time to make sure that you abide by the rules. Everyone obviously deserves a second chance, and if they are breaking them, then yeah, if they continuously breaking them, they're asked to leave.
Did you read Schedule 5 of the Health Protection Coronavirus Restrictions Steps England Regulations 2021?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So what guidance did you find online to tell you about what Schedule 5 said?
I suppose I just Googled what, rules and regulations, what a pub can do inside and out.
Did you find the Birmingham City Council and West Midlands Police guide?
No.
I suspect you're probably finding something a bit more generic, like the BBC or something like that.
Daily Mail, things like that was popping up.
BBC and Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with hindsight, what would we have done differently in terms about finding out what rules and regulations apply to you?
We should have been stricter on.
I'm looking at this man. He came and offered his help.
Yeah, we should have.
This man either knows or can direct you to.
Contacted Mr. Davis, and asked for his guidance. I think was a little bit like, hit in the face from the shock and everything. And I suppose, absolutely, rolled our hands up to it, and we should have spoke to Mr. Davis, and asked
we
for
shouldn't have maybe dismissed the hand that was offering us so much support, really, should we?
No, that's correct.
But having said that, you page 33 of the bundle, there's a screenshot of a post that you've put on Facebook.
Yep.
And I'm not sure you've got a copy of it in front of you. If I can pass you a full copy.
Yep.
I don't want you to read it all out to us, but can you bullet point to us the safeguardings and the rules that you've got in place?
Yeah, so I said, please bring a face mask. This must be worn inside the building or collecting, obviously, the order at the bar. No entry of the inside bar. Card payments only on the outside. Please always be 6 to a table, no more. We obviously encouraged the pitch of jugs purely down to the fact that it was just less people walking around. We obviously had security on the door, so this obviously made sure that everything was kept under control.
Is that why you had the doorman, to make sure that the rules were adhered to?
It was more just support. We obviously, as staff members there, was giving obviously people the advice of please do not stand up, but obviously we just wanted that support from the doorman.
So you were thinking that we need to control the situation, and this is a safeguarding we think is applicable.
I just felt like we felt a little bit more at ease having, doorman there, just in case, people did get out of hand, and it was more, they can control it better. I mean, on our situation, I know that being landlords, I know some people, tend to not be, can't manhandle people anymore. Doing in there being that they can help us out with if anything did escalate like that. So that's why we tend to get them in. They was obviously briefed at the time as well of what we wanted them to do. That being 6 to a table. Anyone stood up, please ensure that you sit down. Not complying, please ask them to be removed from the premises.
Okay. Going back to the screenshots, unfortunately, the final paragraph isn't on the version in the bundle. But could you read what the last paragraph says about any questions? Just get in touch with me. What does it say?
Yeah, so it says here, people not abiding by these rules will be asked to leave, as we will have the police checking in at some point during the day, as we've already had the call. So we want to make it a safe and fun at the same time, and we want to make the railway the new place to go to, and hopefully people will respect that. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
So did you intend it to turn into the disco that we've seen?
Absolutely not, because we knew that the police was watching us. And we knew that we had, we already had the call. It wasn't we didn't intend for this to happen. I mean, stating there that we had the police checks. So, I mean, if I knew the police was coming and I knew it was going to get like that,
Does it not give you a pit in the stomach to see, though, that
absolutely,
what we've seen on the video?
Yeah.
We can't escape it, can we?
No.
We have to accept that is wrong.
It's absolutely,
whatever the rules and the guidance, that's clearly
during the time from 12 o'clock when we first did the event. Everything was put in place. The staff members was ensuring people were sat down. Orders were being taken at the benches at the time, and there was paid by the card, and we had staff members coming out. The issue that we found is that it got too busy, that we thought we could control it, and people was complaining that we're waiting too long for our beers, for bottles of wine, and it's taking too long. So it just once again spiraled out of control, and I think it was we should have limited the tables to at least 10 because it was very difficult.
So you've learned from your experience that numbers is a big factor here.
Absolutely,
numbers is a bit, and our event goes on from 10 o'clock. Sorry, apologies, 12 noon.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Yeah,
another warning sign. Another.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, for the first,
and then the music.
Yeah.
Drink combined with drink.
Yeah, it doesn't go. I think we've always witnessed that in our lifetimes, haven't we? We've seen it all
for a good time.
Yeah.
So we know at 6:44 because I keep harking on about it. Police officer attends.
Yeah.
And although the noise is a problem, social distancing does seem to be happening. So at 6:44 p.m. you seem like you've got your ship in order.
Yeah, so the police officer addressed me outside. I even offered him to come into the venue to ensure that it was, a place to be. He was happy, smiles all around. He said, "No, it's not a problem. I've got nothing to see here."
Okay.
Mr. Shackleton, just to give you a heads up, I would like us to adjourn for 45 minutes, if that's acceptable. I appreciate that we're all running short on sustenance, and I think it's appropriate just to take. Well, I think that probably is that okay.
Yes, sir. Of course it is.
Thank you. A bit thin.
Thank you. We'll be back at 3:30 or thereabout. Thank you.